Yay! We're good to go. We're good to go. And it's working perfect. Sometimes this camera works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's the only one I've got right now. So we're just going to make do with that. When you pop in, say hi, let me know how you're doing. And if you haven't come into my lives before, my name's Cindy. I'm from Winnipeg, Manitoba, and yeah, I explore the inside and I explore the outside. I like to do back road explorations, urban explorations. I like to do, road trips. I love to do road trips, right? Yeah, and I haven't actually been able to do a lot of them as of late. So we're working on the mindset, right? In the meantime, we're working on the mindset, and yeah, and that's what I do. Sunday nights, we actually have a pretty good crew that usually comes in on Sunday nights, and yeah, we have some good chit chats. And like every live we have the most amazing conversations. But I've actually never had a live on a Sunday night that didn't get lively. Yeah, wait till Brendan and Owen and William get here, and they should all be here shortly. And you never know, in between we have some regulars in between, but with the coronavirus going on, and also some of my followers are very adamant in how they feel about things, right? And they're very involved with the protests. And like, obviously, being a thought leader, I'm going to have thought leaders. And here's one of my thought leaders right now. This is Andrew. This is one of my monitors. Yeah, I don't think Andrew has missed a live in, how long has it been? You don't miss the lives very often. He might have missed one this year. Maybe. I'm just taking a guess, because I'm just going to assume not everybody is perfect, right? But Andrew gets pretty close, right? He gets pretty close. How have you been doing this week, Andrew? How have you been doing with everything going on? How are you feeling? How are your stress levels? I tell you, this week I'm having a week. Right? It's like everything kind of getting thrown at me, little tidbits of information and stuff. And I think it's purposely just to see if I can get triggered. And yeah, I guess it's triggering me a little bit, right? Ah, perfect. Yeah, I don't think, Andrew, I'm not sure if you've even missed one. And are you going to take them to those little library boxes out in front of people's houses? Is that what you do with the books, Andrew? Or are you going to do something else with those? Do you sell them maybe? Yeah, every time I go down, we have a couple of one of those what do you call those book libraries, outdoor book libraries, with the little boxes they put out in their front yards. And yeah, I have a couple of them just a couple of blocks away, and they're both on the same street. So I cross one street and I go through his library, and he did such a nice little job, right? Because sometimes I go past those libraries and they like to put glass windows in them, but then you have the bad kids, they go by and they like to punch out the glass and stuff, right? And so they end up putting, pieces of plywood up where the window was, right? But this one on both sides of the streets, beautiful little boxes, really, really cute, with little shelves inside. And the other day, I actually took a big book. I had a book from, it was the entire history of the, what area? The Minot area, right? All along Highway number 8 down towards, going all the way down almost to the border, that whole area. And I have a history book, and it's super, super, super thick, right? But I hadn't looked at it for a long time, right? And I thought, maybe if I put it in the box, right, just to say thank you, right? Because it was probably a very expensive book, right? I think it was a special occasion book that people had to actually order at the time, right? And it talks all about the people. It's all down in what's that area? Just trying to think. yeah, I just don't want to say the wrong area and get it totally wrong, right? Because I don't know if it's further east towards the Ontario border, but it doesn't really matter anyway, right? But yeah, it was all the history of all the families that lived in the area, the first settlers of Manitoba, and they documented those family stories, right? And actually took pictures of the old homesteads and stuff. So all of that information is documented for Manitoba. 1,000 years from now, right? You never know what the landscape of the world is going to look like. We can see already that things are changing and changing fast, right? Oh, the little free libraries. That's what you call them. You're right, Andrew. Little free libraries, right? But yeah, so every time I go down there, because the one gentleman, he has a lot of mindset books. Somebody in that neighborhood likes the mindset and the spirituality. So they leave those books in there, right? So that's why I purposely go down to that library and I check, right? Because I find that all interesting. I actually got a really good one the other day, right? Hot chocolate for the mystic teenage soul. And they're all just little memory stories that people submitted, right? That people submitted on their lives, little miracles. Like, even me, I've had in the past couple of years, I've had some miracles happen, like things that are so strange, like it's either miracles or magic, one or the other, because it just seems so odd and so out of place, and things that kind of never happened to me in my life before, right? Which kind of, sent me down this route of checking into this, right? Now I don't know if I'm so much a spiritual person, but I definitely believe in reincarnation, and I definitely believe in something's calling the shots. I definitely believe that somebody is calling the shots, because yeah, it's just like been like a perfect formula. My life has been a perfect formula for something. I still haven't figured out what that something is, but I leave myself open, right? I leave myself open for the miracles, because I've seen it happen. I know it happens, right? And yeah, and I would like it to happen some more. It's been a while, right? I take those to remind me that there's something more. There's something bigger than me, right? There's something more important than me. Yeah, we kind of have a dreary day going on today too. The worms just started eating the tree leaves, right? So I'm going to assume that it's only going to take a week or so, and then well, it'll still be a beautiful view, because I got people's lawns and stuff to look at, and the tunnel's still there. It's just not as beautiful as it is right now. Yeah, tomorrow maybe I'll show everybody. I don't want to turn the camera around, otherwise, yeah, I might not be able to get it back in the perfect. Oh, and I didn't. I have this board here because I take Zoom classes during the day with my work placement program, right? And they never said don't advertise your brand or anything, but at the same time, I want to be respectful, because there are people that sit in on these Zoom meetings that are actually hiring, right? So even though they're not contributing to the conversation or in the lessons, they're sitting and they're watching, and right. So, I always try to make sure, my shelves are clean, and that that everything looks tidy. So, but that's one of the things I do. I slide that painted board over, and you don't even notice. Like, you don't even notice. Isn't that cool? The way I did that, right? It's the perfect height. It's nice and light. Mind you, this is a painting. This was one of my mother's paintings, and it was sitting in my sister's laundry room, right? Ever since she passed away, it was just sitting there, and it was starting to gray and go dirty. And it was a very expensive print. I think it was a few $100s for sure, right? but I just took it. I just took it and just took the paintbrush and just painted it. It was a nice picture, but it was modern art, right? And I'm not sure. I like the modern art, but the modern art that like the forward thinkers of the 40s and the 50s, even the 1800s, right? That forward thought, right? That forward thought that way, like Monet, right? He forward thought and oh, there was a few of them that really did some abstract art. And I have some abstract 1970s painting on platters and stuff, right? Of Florence and stuff. I don't know. I like my art, right? That's one thing I think I'll feel bad about parting with is my art, because it's some of those pieces have been with me for decades, and all of them have interesting stories of how they came into my life, right? How they came into life. And usually that's how I attach myself to items and to people, right? Is because they made me feel a certain way, or and it's the stories, right? The stories of these pieces. And again, like, I wish I could turn the camera around and show everybody my pieces, because some of them I picked them up, and all of them are great deals. Like, all of them are great deals. Like, I have some beautiful paintings that I picked up. I got them for like $5 a piece at the auction. Really, really. And one of them is from Yosemite Park, because I recognize that gentleman who takes those black and white photographs of Yellowstone, the gentleman, that photographer, right? Ansel Adams, right? And there's a scene from a photograph, and it's almost, not quite, but it's the same mountains and the same formation. So whoever painted this is in the same Ansel Adams. Yes, Ansel Adams. This painting was painted by somebody who was there, but maybe sitting in a different spot where Ansel Adams took his photograph, right? But this is a little painting I had. I got it for $5. Mind you, I didn't know what the topic was, right? It was just when I was trying to find out if the painter was I used to do that, right? Because then I would just sell it on eBay. I would put it up for auction, and I did really good on some items. Like I said, I used to sell fur coats that I pick up at secondhand stores and yard sales and Value Village and stuff, and I would pick them up for like $10, and I would sell them for hundreds and hundreds of dollars on eBay, right? But now you don't get those deals. Everybody knows the value of a fur coat. You might be able to get better deals on them now because summer's here, right? And you don't want those fur coats to be in the heat and the humidity. It's not good for the fur itself, right? But maybe I gotta figure something out, how to bring an income in for myself, right? It's not that I just don't want to do this, right? I want to get back on the road. I want to do some road trips. I want to do some conferencing, like, when things start opening up again and people start doing their conferences and their events. Like, I want to start doing that. I want to start I've got my passport. I sure would like to get some use out of it, right? Oh, Owen's here too. Awesome. Hi, Owen. Yeah, so I'd really like to get back on the road. So, I need to get a job that can help me to put some chunks on the credit cards, right? Get that debt off my back. Put the chunks on the credit cards, stay on top of my bills, keep a roof over my head, right? But if I could get back on the road and do those back road explorations, maybe I could get some content out there, some explore videos back onto my YouTube channel. That would be really nice, right? Oh, chicken dinner on the barbecue. That's what you were having? Yeah, with me, I just I counted my meals in my freezer. I have to go 2 weeks, right? So I counted up my meals, and I have I have 11 meals, but I have a can of soup. It's really old, but I'll eat it if I have to. And I have 2 bags. I have 2 bags of rice, right? So I can make like fried rice out of those bags of rice, right? So I'll do okay. Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm certainly not going without, right? I'm not going without. And yeah, it's just, I just feel the weight of what's been going on in the world. I think, I feel the worries of the people in my life, right? I feel the worries of the people of my life. And it's hard for me to distinguish, like I said, what's mine and what belongs to other people. But if they feel I need to wear that, I can wear it a little bit, right? Because I'm the one in the good health in the family, right? Talking about good health, what was it that I was jotting? Did I jot something down about good health? Yeah. This you might find is interesting, right? So because I believe in reincarnation, right? I don't know about anything, but I'm pretty certain about the reincarnation part, right? But they say that to determine, like, because there's certain aspects of yourself when you come back every life, when you're reborn, there's certain things about you that are the same all the time, right? And I kind of said to Google that, like, hey, make me a beta, right? Like a beta is like an experiment, right? And make me an experiment. If I do come back, if I do believe in reincarnation, right? Right? And I know what those strong traits are that are with me in every single life, because there's really, really strong, like you're totally, totally drawn to them, right? That's why I kind of think that I'm going down probably spirituality route, right? Because the reincarnation is a for sure, right? I feel that for sure. So reincarnation, Andrew, that's not part of the the Christianity, right? See, that's how unfamiliar I am with religions. But I don't think, I don't remember from Bible stories or anything. Like, I remember people lived, like Moses lived for hundreds of years. Like, I knew people lived for a long time. And I know there were mystics, religious mystics, and I consider myself a little mystic, right? But the reincarnation part, I'm not too sure about, right? Like, why do I feel so strongly about the reincarnation, right? And oh, okay. We die once, right? Oh, that's just William. William just was in my Instagram. Did you hear that little notification bell? That was William. So you can expect William to be here in a minute. Yeah, he just popped in just to say hi. Yeah, just to say hi. But that was nice. Yeah, if you guys ever want to come over to my Instagram, yeah, I could use that chair right now, right? Like, there's so many things I want to talk about, right? And, I keep jotting down these great topics that, I would love to get off my chest and stuff. But then when I've been getting on to my lives, when I end up going to my lives on my Instagram, then I just kind of go blank, right? I've just been going blank. Yeah, and like I said, it's that this week, right? And I don't know. I don't feel like I've been a lot around people. I mean, unless you count, people in the grocery store, right? Or people I pass when I'm going for a bike ride, or when I go in for a cup of coffee, right? But I'm not. I'm trying to stay away from people. I know it's important. It's important for us to not get sucked in. Don't get sucked into that. Oh, and there's another one. Aw, yeah, that was my friend Ellen from YouTube. He was with me in Toronto. Yeah, so he just sent me a little comment too. That was nice. Yeah, I'll check that out later. I guess everybody's posting and stuff. It seems I'm getting my notifications now. I usually get my notifications 2 or 3 times a day, right? My computer, I have like I'm a Google girl, right? I like to keep everything Google, and this is a Windows system I had here, so I downloaded the Chrome, right? So I work within Chrome, but now that I find that these classes that I'm taking, they work in the Windows, right? And they work in the Office and stuff, and those programs. And yeah, I went into those. I hadn't been in for. They had to make me re-sign in and send me verifications. That's how long I've been in my Windows accounts, right? It's been a long time, but they're tied into my mail somehow, and I'm not sure why they have access to my email. So it's probably them that feeding me these notifications here. But yeah, I like to stay within Google if I can. I know all these Office programs are basically the same, right? And I'm excited to do some work in the Google programs because I know the programs, because they're almost the same, that I'll have an easier time at finding things, right? And knowing how to do things. Yeah, last night I finished my test. I did a live on my Instagram yesterday, but I hadn't finished my test yet. I had to stop at the end of my test. I had one more thing I had to do, and I had to stop it because it was time for me to go live on my Instagram. So I went live on my Instagram, and then I went back into my test and I finished it off, and I figured out how to send it to him, right? But I can't read those program or those documents that I was sending him because I don't work in the Windows, and I don't download any of their apps or anything, right? So I could open it, but it's all numerological, right? So I don't even know what I was writing. So I just sent him the stuff as a link, and he wanted it as an attachment. So I hope I don't lose points. I hope I don't lose points because I left him attachment, right? Instead of no, I left him as a link instead of an attachment, right? Because I want this. I want this not to be. Otherwise, I wouldn't have wasted all that space on my computer to work out of Chrome, right? I wanted to work out of Chrome. And did you do good for that on your recertification, Andrew? Did you do good for that? See, what did I tell you? What did I tell you? We just got your notification, William. You were just in my Instagram just a couple of minutes ago, and your notification popped up on my screen. I told everybody, I says, oh, just wait, guys. William's going to be here any minute. And there you are. You showed up right away. Wow, Andrew, really good. What's your typing speed like? How fast? See, what I'm doing now, like working in the Excel and stuff, I don't really have to have that good typing, that fast typing to do it, right? As long as I'm meticulous, right? As long as I'm meticulous and I don't make the mistakes and I learn how to, use those programs and those formulas, right? But I wrote it all down, and last night I could have cheated. Oh, I was so tired. Oh, I was so tired. Even when I was doing the test and trying to figure it out, and it was so frustrating trying to figure out how to send them my test and stuff, and I wasn't too sure even if he was going to be able to read it. I wasn't even sure if I was sending it in the right format, right? I'm just one of those people that, you show me once and I've got it, right? I'm not somebody who needs more than 1 or 2 times being shown something, and then I've usually got it figured out, right? But yeah, I was having a time last night, and again, I'm just going to take it as a lesson, right? Is Karen here too? Let me just take a look here. Let me backtrack. Let me just look at my participants. That's probably the easiest way to do it, right? Is just go in and see who's here. Oh, yeah. No. But yeah, so what was I talking about? Yeah, see, I lost track there. I lost track. but I wasn't too sure how my live was, right? Like on my Instagram, I thought I was gonna have a hard time doing my live on Instagram today because I got just overcome by just just uncertainty. Is that the word I was looking for? Like you kind of expecting something bad is going to happen, but you don't know what the bad is, right? And I had that feeling, and yeah, nothing happened. Nothing happened, right? Even the weather is just suiting me. We're going to have a storm tonight. We're going to have a storm tonight. I know we're going to have a storm. The clouds are getting nice and big and black, and the wind is picking up. It's not raining yet, but it will, and I'm pretty excited for that, right? In our apartment building, we had an old plant sitting in the window in the hallway, but the windows are cold and stuff, and the plant almost died a few times this year, and I got out there a few times and gave it some water and stuff, but every time that door opens up, you got the 40 below zero. It was sitting right on top, right? So yeah, it almost didn't survive. And then I saw a video that said, if you want to feel good, if you want to, feel good, then, you get yourself a plant. You got to take care of a plant. And I hate gardening. Like, I do not like gardening. And I'm not even too sure how I feel about having a plant, right? Because I attach to plants like I attach to animals, right? Like, I do. I'm a tree hugger, right? I'm a tree hugger. So if something happens to that plant while it's in my care, then I'm going to feel really, really bad, right? But the good news is all the leaves have puffed up, right? I had to trim a whole bunch of dead stuff off, but I couldn't even throw the dead stuff away. That's how bad I felt, right? So I put them in little cups of water, and I said if they grow roots, then I'll transplant them, right? I'll transplant those plants. But I was so pleased that I'm actually saving this old plant. And somebody told me that they can live for 20 years. He said it was a Christmas cactus, right? Said it's a plant that you can't really go wrong on. It's really hard. It's a plant that's really hard to kill. And believe me, it almost got killed a couple of times this past winter. Yeah, so I just told the caretaker today that, yeah, I said I took your plant out of the window. I'm trying to make it come back alive. And I've got some clippings if anybody wants any clippings for it, I said to him, right? And yeah, he said, okay. I paid off my phone bill, and my sister put $100 accidentally on my internet, but the hydro hasn't been paid and the rent hasn't been paid. But the hydro's not allowed to cut you off right now, right? They're not, but who's to say how long that will go for, right? They cut my phone off, right? They cut my phone off, and I had to scrabble, right? My sister says, don't spend your money, it's your rent. And I didn't spend my money, right? I didn't spend my money, and I got hookup fees because I listened to her, right? Because I listened to her, right? And I should have trusted my own judgment. And it wasn't, at the time she probably, meant well and everything, but she's, I think, so wrapped up in her own issues in her life, right? That she's not really actually given me any thought, and it's all good, right? Like, no hard feelings or anything, right? Well, you can't help but feel bad, right? You can't help but feel bad, but I definitely understand, right? I just thought we could have just kind of, built up this relationship, and and it could just be just as strong, if not stronger, and she could just look at me as her cookie sister if she wanted to, right? Just as long as we had a good relationship, right? That's all I cared about, right? I can deal with, because what's that saying? It's always in Evans, but Will I Am, he says, not one drop of my blood is determined by what you think of me, right? I keep thinking of that saying, right? And I have to keep thinking that way, right? Oh, I like African violets. I think I think African violets were one of my mother's favorite flowers. She liked lilacs. She really liked lilacs, and she liked African violets. I think she liked them because I think on Mother's Day they were like the cheapest plants that you can get for mother on Mother's Day, right? Yeah, were the African violets. She got lots of African violets. She got lots of daisies too. I love daisies, right? I really not daisies. Oh, not do Oh, not daisies. Daffodils, right? That's the one with the yellow one with the leaves, right? I love daffodils. Do you guys have daffodils where you guys live? I know, like, depending where you live, like the topography, like, will determine what kind of things you can grow and what kind of things you can't. Like here in Manitoba, we can't grow real regular apple trees, right? It's just too cold here. We can grow crab apples, right? They thrive pretty good, the crab apples, but apple trees don't do well here in Manitoba. Blackberries don't do well here in Manitoba, right? Because they need lots of humidity and they need lots of sun, right? And our winters will kill those roots, the blackberry roots. So we don't have blackberries. We don't have huckleberries here in Manitoba either. When I lived in Vancouver, we'd take the ice cream pails down to Stanley Park and we'd start picking huckleberries. It would take us all day to pick a half a pail of huckleberries because that's how tiny the huckleberries were, right? But if we could manage to get a half a pail of huckleberries, my mother would make a huckleberry pie, right? And yeah, we all loved Mom's homemade pies. My mother was a very, very good baker. She was a very good baker. She learned from her mom, right? And it was one thing she allowed me to do with her, right? Like it was, I was allowed to I wasn't allowed to like work anything, but I was able to stand around and she would tell me what she was doing and how it was done and, how it worked and stuff. That's how I learned to make the best bread. Nobody makes better bread than I do. Actually, when I was married, we lived on the military base, me and my husband, and all the guys on base, they all had beer making kits in their basements. That's what the wives let them do, right? It's a good way to keep them home in the basements because the guys always had basement parties, right? And on base, and you just invite your buddies, and that's because the military guys, they were very tight, right? They're very tight, and they stayed within their groups and stuff. But yeah, I would go to these house parties and with my husband, and every time I left, I would leave with a bottle of homemade brew, right? And it was tradition. I'd get 2 bottles. I would get a bottle for my husband, right? And I'd put it in the fridge, and that would be for him. And then I would get another bottle, and that would be for my starter, right? And I would pour the bottle of beer into a jar, right? And then I would add about a cup of flour. No, maybe not a cup. Maybe just over a half a cup of flour, right? And then I would use a cap of vinegar and a tablespoon of sugar, right? And then I put the cap on the jar, and I would shake the jar, right? And then I would take the cap off the jar, right? Because it gets very, very very, very gassy. Because then what I do is I'm going to put a half a package of yeast into the starter too, right? And then I'm going to shake it up one more time. And then I'm going to leave the cap loose on top of the jar just so that the gases could release, right? And then the next day, I would put the rest of the package of the yeast into the mixture, right? And then I would add an egg to it, right? I would add an egg to it, and then I would add I'd probably add 3 or 4 cups of warm water to it, and I would let it sit there for a few minutes, and then I would add my flour, knead it, and let it rise, and then I would pound it down, and then I would mold it into the pans, and it made the most beautiful bread. And I always either took, depending on what they wanted, they would either get dinner rolls, cinnamon buns, or they would get a loaf of bread, right? And they would get their choice, right? And And I would do that for anybody who would give me beer. And then my husband was always coming home with beer because people would take it to him, right? Because everybody just loved my bread, right? Loved my bread. I made great homemade bread. But yeah, I learned how to make bread. I learned how to make bread from my mother. And baking bread is not difficult, right? And I love homemade bread and put peanut butter. I haven't had peanut butter for months. I actually thought of peanut butter for the first time today when I went into the store, right? Do I buy the milk or do I buy a jar of peanut butter? But I didn't have anything for the peanut butter. I had no bread or anything. And I haven't had bread. I'm so pleased that I've been really good. I'm not even thinking about the bread. There are things I do like the biscuits or the English muffins, right? I wouldn't have a bagel because I would consider bagel bread. But the biscuits are bread, so are the muffins are bread, right? But I would have that. I'm just being strict on myself at the bread, and at the same time of giving up the bread, then I've automatically given up the peanut butter, because the peanut butter is not only my favorite food in the whole world. Like if you said there was only one thing that you can take with you, it would have to be a lifetime supply of peanut butter, right? I love turkey white meat too, but if it's all I have for my whole life, turkeys, like what am I going to do with a lifetime supply of turkeys, right? Right? If that wasn't a worry, I would say turkeys, because you can do so much with a turkey, right? You can do so much with a turkey, but to even make like turkey jerky and stuff like that, for when you have to go on those long trips and survival and stuff and stock away for winter. Yeah, I was reading about the Neanderthals. It's so interesting. They're thinking that maybe our amazing emotions are coming maybe from the Neanderthals, right? Our need for community, our need for socialization and community is supposedly coming from Neanderthals too, right? But they also said there's a trick to spot a narcissist. It's always the ridges on their eyebrows. And then I thought, ooh, ridges. Well, that's a Neanderthal trait, right? Because the Neanderthals always had those eyebrow lines that kind of sticked out a little bit, right? So then I thought, oh, okay, well, maybe that's a Neanderthal trait, right? So now it gets me thinking about the Neanderthals, because most of us, not all of us, right, but most of us have Neanderthal blood in us, and I didn't know that. I thought Neanderthals were a species, and they were extinct, right? And yes, they were a species, and they're extinct. But I didn't know they passed their genes on, right? I didn't know that. I didn't know that they could mate with other species of human beings. I didn't know that, right? But Homo sapiens, right, and Neanderthals got together, and then there was another one, the Davidians. Is that what they're called? Deviants, right? And they were another species of human beings that actually went extinct too in the Ice Age, right? So when you know that, and the fact that the last Neanderthals, when the last caves were the last Neanderthals that they excavated, right? They found that the Neanderthals had turned cannibalistic, that they'd been eating, I guess they could tell somehow with the teeth, right? They could tell that they were eating humans, right? So being a social group and family and emotions, right? That all came from the Neanderthals. Then that must have been very, very painful. They must have suffered very greatly for them to have to make the decisions to eat their own kind, right? Yeah. I was actually thinking about this, like, there was something else that I watched, and it was about the ship. Oh, who was the Selkirk, right? Selkirk, when he was on his, not our Selkirk for Manitoba, but it was a different Selkirk, right? And he got in an accident with his ship, and he decided to carry on into Africa to get repairs on the ship. But when he got there, there were no spare lifeboats and stuff. And this is like early, those great big sailing ships from the 1700s, right? And he had one of those ships, and so they didn't have the boat. So they decided to just carry on because the boat seemed to be managing okay. But then what happened is, the boat sank, and they separated into three boats, right, to survive, the life ships, and they all kind of stayed together in the lifeboats. But then slowly they drifted off separately into different, and they ended up, the only reason there was like maybe a half a dozen people who survived that entire crew, right? They were explorers. He was a famous explorer. That's what he was. He was a famous explorer. Now, Selkirk was his name, but I can't remember if it was his first name or his last name. Yeah, but the whole crew, and they ate all the black people died first, right? And then they ended up having to draw straws because they had to eat again, but nobody was dying, right? Nobody was dying. So they had to pick straws to choose like who was going to sacrifice themselves, right? And it turned out the captain, who was Selkirk, the ship, right? His nephew had come along for the adventure, and he was the one that picked the stick, right? And there's William asking about dinner, right? When we're just talking about. Oh, Karen's here. Hi, Karen. I thought I heard Andrew say hi, Karen. Yeah, and I looked and I said, I didn't see Karen come in. Oh, wonderful. Yes, I saw your video this week. I love your hair. I love the color of your hair. I love your Betty Boop bangs. Yeah, Karen's got a great little video, and she's got a contest going on, right? I don't know how many of you guys like arts and crafts and knitting and stuff, right? But that's what Karen does. Not only does she do that, but she's a good conversationalist, right? And Karen, you should actually more confidence, right? You do such a good job. But you were doing a lot of apologizing. I don't think you need to apologize. I think you were right on top of your game, right? I thought you did a really, really good job on your videos. I think you do a really good job, Karen. Yeah. And that should boost your confidence, because I don't blow smoke up people's bum like that, right? Unless it's true. And you haven't done a lot of videos. So can you imagine, Karen, how good you're going to be, right? How good you're really going to be if you actually really applied yourself, right? Even if right now you commit to one video a month, right? Because I know you've been missing time too, right? But your videos are so good. But if you can just commit to one video a month, then, maybe you'll get more comfortable, and then that confidence, and then you'll see how good you really are, right? And then maybe you can start increasing it to 2 a month or once a week, right? Oh, yeah, that'll be good, Karen. And what a good idea for a contest. I thought that was an action. I walked in to see your video, and I saw you were putting on a little contest. Oh, that's nice of you to say, Karen, because I didn't know whether that would hurt your feeling to say, hey, stop apologizing, right? Because you were very, very, very apologetic. And I thought, there's no reason for Karen to feel bad, right? In any way at all. I mean, sure, you want your followers to see you, right? As much as you can, right? So you feel bad for them. But yeah, my dad never apologized for anything, right? My mother too. Like, I never once. And I even comment to them, that why did they never, because there were lots of times when they were wrong, and they were, I really thought it would have been decent for them to say sorry, right? Especially when you hurt somebody so bad that it's going to impact them forever, right? And you would think that they would say sorry, right? And I knew they felt bad. I knew my dad felt bad, because I knew I knew when my dad hurt us, like my dad never physically hurt us or anything, right? But sometimes he would hurt our feelings and stuff, right? Especially when he knew what was going on with me, and it never seemed that my dad never stepped in, right? My dad was always a bit of a spectator. As an adult now, I understand, like, that was his thing, right? Like that's what got my dad going, right? So I understand as an adult looking back at my dad what the story was, right? But yeah, as a child, I didn't understand, right? I didn't understand, right? I knew my dad loved me lots, right? But I just didn't understand why he didn't step in, right? And stop things. But as an adult now, I can kind of understand this. It doesn't make it right, but I understand his point of view and why he did it. But yeah, my dad never apologized, but he would do things to make you know that he was sorry, right? He never said sorry, but he would always make up in little ways, to make you know that he felt bad, right? Whether it was, he'd come home from, yeah, he'd hide. People would leave money inside the back seats, right? Fall out of their pockets and go in. He drove cab, right? And sometimes he'd come home for dinner break, and then he would say, "Oh, go out and check the cab." But we knew my dad used to plant coins and stuff inside the back seats for us to find, right? And then because you could always tell, because he'd come into the house right away and he'd go, "Okay, kids, go check my car. I'm only here for half an hour." Right? And then we go check his car. We find all this money, and then, we go get comic books and pop and stuff, right? Yeah. But my dad did things like that to plant things, right? Because everything was supposed to be fun, right? It was supposed to be an adventure. He loved to plan. He loved to plan surprises. My dad loved to plan surprises, and I love to plan surprises too. And I'm very, very good at it too, because I know what people like, right? If you're a part of my life, and if I was going to do something for your birthday, then I'm either going to be getting paid for it, which means I'm going to do a really good job, or I really love you. And that's why I'm going to do a good job, right? Yeah. I get your comments. I see your thumbs up on my Instagram and stuff, Karen, all the time, right? I notice. But yeah, I rave about my crew here on YouTube all the time, because, like, seriously, like, we always have these such little crews going on, but I tell you, like, our comments just keep going, right? We have such great people, such great conversations and stuff. And everybody's here tonight. Oh, Kim's not here. Nancy's not here. That means Nancy needs a little prayer, Andrew, right? You need a prayer, just give Andrew a shout. He's happy to pray for you, right? I can send you good mojo because I haven't found myself yet. So that's what I can do for you. I can send you good mojo. But definitely. And they said that too. I don't know why I say they said that, because I don't even know. It was just kind of like a knowing, right? Because I remember about a year ago, right? I said, "What do you want? What do you really, really want?" Right? And then I wrote it down, what I wanted. And what I wanted was understanding, because I didn't understand. I didn't understand anything. I didn't understand what I was going through. I didn't understand my past. I didn't understand my family. I didn't understand my weight problems, or why people treated me the way they did, right? I didn't understand a lot of things. So obviously I asked for understanding, right? And then a few weeks later, I don't know, right? Like, in my head, it feels like it was a conversation, but it might have been a video. I don't know. It's just like another knowing. And yeah, and it was just one sentence, and it was, yeah, if it's understanding, then it's spirituality. And that's what the sentence was that got in my head, right? And then ever since then, I've been delving into the different religions, because I didn't understand spirituality, right? I thought spirituality was religion, right? I thought that was just the general term, like when you say Christian, I thought that's what it was, right? It was the spirituality. But then, then I got a rude awakening on that one. And right away I found out what it was. I went, oh, right. And then ever since then, all that information has just keep coming to me. And and because I'm studying all religions, right? Like, I don't want to make a mistake. I want to make sure that I'm where I'm supposed to be. And so I'm checking everything out just to see if I resonate with anything else. Because it would be simple, right? Wouldn't it be simple if I was a Christian? Right? It would be simple because being a Christian is so acceptable, right? It's so acceptable. I mean, like with me when I study religions and stuff, right? The different denominations and everything, it's different characters, but it's the exact same story almost in every denomination. And if people who follow philosophy, right? They would know this, right? They would know this, that each one of these religions are actually basically the same. They're just different characters to fit the countries, right? To fit the cultures, to fit the morals of the countries and the areas that these religions popped up, right? And I just considered that spirituality was just another religion. And that's how I figured it. So I got comfortable with it kind of sort of right away because it just seemed natural, right? And because I'm learning it, right? I'm not an expert or anything. I'm just kind of learning it, but I kind of get the gist of it. And because I know the people that I resonate with who are creating this kind of content, right? Like I really resonate with some of these people I'm pretty certain that it's going to be spiritual, but like I said, I don't know. And I'm just leaving myself open, right? Like you can tell that I have lots and lots of questions when it comes to religion, right? And it's because I have so much respect for every denomination, right? For every, I nannied for a Jewish couple, a Russian Jewish couple, and they had the rabbis at their house all the time. Like there were certain rules when you came into contact with the rabbis and stuff, right? But very, very interesting, right? But I haven't really delved into that religion yet either, right? The Jewish religion, I haven't really, I understand a little bit the Moses part of it, the Hitler part of it, I understand. And I know that it's part of the first Testament, right? Is the Jewish part of the Testament, the Jewish denomination, they believe in the First Testament, right? They just don't believe in Jesus, right? Yeah, I think I need to brush up on the Jewish denomination. Yes, I do. The denominations in my family would probably vary, right? Yeah. There's definitely Catholic, there's definitely Protestants, right? And religious people, right? Bishops, archbishops, nuns, right? Lots of these, and lots of aristocracy, however you want to say that, right? On my mother's side, but also on my mother's side is because that was from my mother's dad's side, right? But on my mother's side, I know for sure there is some indigenous, right? Some indigenous. Now I'm not too sure if it's Cree or if it's Assiniboine. It's from middle, more eastern from here, right? Probably Ontario, Northern Ontario area, because that's how the reason I know that is because my grandmother my grandmother and her girlfriend found gold veins and actually found gold, and they sold the rights to mine the gold to a mining company, right? And they ended up traveling Canada and doing shopping and stuff and spent all that money. And then, yeah, she ended up in Vancouver and meeting my grandfather, right? Yeah. And my grandfather was actually disowned. My grandfather was disowned by his family because he came in with that 1890s crew immigrants to Canada, right? He came to Canada for adventure. My grandfather wanted adventure, and his family disowned him. They gave him some money. They gave him part inheritance, and they gave him some money. And yeah, he moved to BC. I think, yeah, he moved to BC first. I'm not sure if he lived anywhere else in Canada, but I know he owned the entire Delta at one time. My grandfather, right? Yeah, so I know that's on my, and then on my dad's side, right? There is mysticism. I know that because my grandmother was a very well known. She did seances, and she had the black ball with the yes no. You know those black. She did all. See it, but she died when I was fairly young, right? So I didn't really pay too much attention to her, right? That way, you know. But on my dad's side is yeah, his I think he was part of the Co gang, which was they were robbers. They hung with Billy the Kid, right, in the Seattle area Seattle area in the 1800s or so, right? They robbed trains and stuff. Yeah, he was part of the Co gang, right? Yeah, they were train robbers, I think. Yeah. Oh, see, I didn't know it was one or the other. I hope I get both. I didn't know it was one or the other. But I have it right here. Actually, I had because I was there is no lack in spirituality whatsoever. It's a Yeah, I say it every morning, right? I have my affirmations at the window. I stand at my window and I say my affirmations, right? I had some really, really, really good affirmations, and I try to write 5 new ones in my book every week. And so I turn the first page and I read all the affirmations, right? And then the next week I add 5 more to them. So pretty soon, I guess by the end of the year, it'll take me like a half an hour or an hour to do all my affirmations. But I sure am wonderful, I tell you, because that's what I do. I write all the wonderfuls, like I am, right? It's important because it's you have to invoke it, right? You have to do the positive affirmations. Here, give me 1 second. I'll just grab my book, and then I can show everybody, right? I keep it in my front room window, right? So it's right there. When I put my kettle on in the morning, then I can go and do my affirmations. But it's just a little book, right? And you start off with I am. Everybody can do this, right? And then you have to feel it when you say it. When you say it, you have to feel it, right? And then so here are mine. I am grateful. I am loved. I am kind. I am considerate. I am generous. I am thoughtful. I am smart. I am love. I am creative. I am pretty. I am curious. I am a gift. I am sweet. I don't say anything bad. I only say good. I am humble. I am wonder. I am happiness. I am gratitude. I am compassionate. I am thankful. I am exuberant. I won't say them all, but you kind of get the gist, right? And then, like every time, then once a week, like I said, I'll write 5. I'll write 5 more, right? And I can repeat. You're just doubling the magic if you repeat the same one again, right? But positive positive affirmations, right? And just try to block out, the negative things that people. I haven't been watching a lot. Have you guys been watching what's been going on with the what do you call that? When people are demonstrating, right? And bringing up the human rights and stuff. The Museum of Human Rights is here in Manitoba. There have been lots of protests and stuff going on here too in Manitoba, right? But yeah, I hope Kathy's here too. Oh, yay. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Kathy. Oh, look at here. We didn't show everybody from Sunday. Look at everybody. Kathy made me this. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? Look at, that's my mystic wander, right? Dream big. She wrote dream big here for me. I absolutely love it. Kathy mailed that to me this week. But Kathy, this is not a coloring. Is this your own art? Did you create this, Kathy? Because I was looking for the lines. I thought you just colored this in. Is this actually your art, Kathy? Can you tell me? I'm curious because I was like looking at it really close and I'm going, I don't see any lines. I don't see. Is she coloring this in or did she actually create this herself, right? It's beautiful, whatever it is. Look at the colors in that dress, right? It looks like it though. Like I actually even I have my little, I have a magnifying glass, right? And I got up really close and I went, I don't even see the lines where she did that, right? And do you pick the colors, Kathy? Did you pick the colors or is there a color pattern that you follow when you make this? I absolutely love it. Isn't it beautiful? And doesn't it say Cindy? I just love it. I think it's beautiful. It's going to stay with me. It's going to stay with me forever. I just love it. Yeah. But yeah, Kathy made that for me. I put it up higher because when I do my Instagram lives, right, I'm trying to take people's attention away from my bad paint job up at the top, right? But yeah. Just like that. I did go for my bike ride. Today. Yeah, I just love it, Kathy. Just beautiful. I just I was, what a kind thought. And the Tim Hortons gift card again, Kathy. Yeah. It was very considerate, and I did use the card already too, right? It was very nice. And I just pulled this. I had it sitting right here, right? But of course, I gotta show off Evan this book, of course, right? So I didn't want it blocking Evan's card. Not like you're not any more special than Evan is. It was just yeah. Well, what if we do that? Yeah, and I just love it, right? Oh, and I didn't put this back either. There we go. Prairie Dodgers. Yeah. So I've got still some worksheets I have to send off tonight before I go to bed. I'll do that tonight. And then tomorrow morning, I think I start a new program tomorrow. And I'm not sure if I want to do it because it is the Windows program, right? And I will be downloading apps, but I guess it's important for me to work in Windows, to know how to work in Windows too, right? But I want to get some use, like whatever, if I don't want to waste the whole week taking a course that I'm not going to get use out of, right? Because like I said, I'm a Google girl and I like to use the sheets and I like to use, yeah, I like my Google and if they had let me use my Google instead of the Excel in this last program, I would have whizzed through it. No problem, right? It's just that I don't have the apps attached to my computer that Windows uses, right? But I guess I should, right? Because yeah, I got both. I don't know who else does that, puts both programs on their computer, right? But yeah, I wasn't gonna take an expensive computer and just, right? Because then I think all you get is the Chromebooks, right? It's the Chromebooks. Yeah. Oh, I bet you are, Andrew. I bet you are. You've had a busy few months, Andrew. I'm getting pretty tired too. I'm getting pretty tired. I'm ready for some excitement. What did I write? What did I write down? I wrote it down too. It was such a good saying for me, right? It was, oh, yeah. See, that's just me and my notes, right? Just me and my notes. I'm learning to process grief and disappointment. I process grief really, really well, right? You know, um, yeah, I get over those kind of things so fast, right? Because, I guess the hardest one, right? I went through that, and then after that, right? Like nobody compared to my dad when my dad passed away. So everything else just seemed like a breeze to get over compared to, how I did. Oh, I found a new one that fits into our categories. ADHD, right? Oh, it's the same thing, but they all get the same. They all get different labels, right? ADHD, codependence, complex trauma, INFJs, empaths, sensitives, borderline personality disorders. Like these are all the exact same thing, right? Except you give them you give them a label, right? That would make it acceptable, right? Right? And all of them are acceptable. They're all acceptable, but I think everybody is just kind of, they're just like say it how it is, like seriously, like, we're empaths, and our experiences are what made us empaths, right? And you have to put some normalcy into the empaths, because these next few generations coming up, they are going to be going through such a hard time, right? Like our generation, a lot of us grew up with two parents, right? And they might not have been great parents, but we grew up with two parents, most of us. These new generation, the millennials, most of them grew up with just one parent, if parents at all, unless they ran away, and ended up living on the streets really, really early, right? So there's going to be so many empaths in the next 15 years. It's going to be a totally, totally different world. But it has to be acceptable, right? It has to be, when the gays got their rights, right? When the gay and lesbians got their rights, even when the blacks got their rights, when the women got the rights, right? When these big changes happened that we had to accept as the truth, right? A lot of these people that are labeled, right? Like maybe the transvestites and people who have sexual dysfunctions or borderline personality disorders, right? And this new one, attention deficit disorder, right? ADHD, I think that's what it is, right? Sensitives, like they're all empaths, right? All brought on by not being treated well by other people, right? And then what do? We live our lives not realizing it because nobody talks about it, right? Nobody talks about it. And then you awaken to what things are really like, and you still don't have anybody to talk about it. What happened to the generations before us who didn't have a computer? I couldn't imagine this experience that I went through in this past year, how I would have managed right? Not being able to talk to other people, us living in a digital age, all that information is it's just right there, right? Just for the grab, just for going to look. Like Owen, right? Like Owen, no question, is a mirror empath like I am, right? Like I'm a mirror empath, and that's why me and Owen are tight this way. And you'll see lots of times when Owen talks in the comments and stuff, you'll notice that his conversations are, going to be like mine when he's communicating with me, or if he's talking with you, you'll notice that his conversations are very much like yours, right? And I think he's a much stronger mirror empath than I am, right? But we have to put the normalcy into the empaths, because there are great strengths and great gifts and great understandings for the empaths, right? And yeah, and when you think you have a problem, right? When these people end up, they end up on a couch talking to a psychiatrist who's never gone through that experience, right? And then what it does is it just messes you up a little bit. It messes you up a little bit more, right? Thank you, Kathy. That's sweet. That's sweet. That's sweet. But yeah, so we have to put the normalcy there. I think it's going to be a great help. And in any case, everybody has to be woken up as fast as we can, because we need to move people's evolution as fast as we can, right? Because just even if you don't believe in reincarnation, right? There's that if that possibility is there, if there's a slightest inkling that says, ooh, maybe Cindy is right? Because it never even crossed my mind, right? Never even crossed my mind up until maybe 6 months ago, maybe 6 or 7 months ago. It never even crossed my mind in my whole life. And my dad believed in reincarnation, right? My dad believed in it, and I still didn't have any connection to it. So again, that understanding and that strength of the pole, right? And that's what I trust because that feeling, that pull and that feeling is strange in itself, right? It says it's unique in itself, right? It's drawing my attention to things, right? Yeah. But it's true. We need to talk. And that's the good thing about psychiatrists, right? Because they're willing to sit there non-judgmental, right? Because we're the type of people we need non-judgmental people in our lives, right? Because we have big things to believe, right? We have fantastical things in our minds, right? And if we don't think that people will believe it, we at least need them to be tolerant of it, right? But like I said, I'm still learning all this, right? And because I'm such a stickler about resonating with something, right? Because I can see how easy it is to put something on and take it as your own, right? And that, again, that's part of the mirror empath, right? That's part of the mirror empath. And that's part of probably, I think, why Owen has a little bit of a problem at home, because he's with his mom, right? So he's empathing with his mom, because he doesn't have all that other structure outside of him. At least I have my Instagram, I have my YouTube channel, I have my interest in philosophy, my interest in religion and history and exploring and mindset, right? I have these interests that ground me, and the more I learn, the more I understand, and then it's easier for me to hold on to it without concentrating on holding on to it. And then I notice that things go a little bit better. And that's why I was so messed up this week. Like, this week is just a crazy emotional week for me, right? It's an emotional, and it's not like I'm crying or anything. I just feel confused. I feel neglected. I feel a little bit neglected, and I feel I feel tired. I feel tired this week, right? I feel tired, and yet I'm still optimistic. I still know this is all going to happen. I still have that positive because I know it's going to happen, but I still have this, right? And I just don't understand that because I've never, right? I've never had these funny emotions things, right? That pull me like this. But yeah, they pull me now and then. And yeah, the heartbreak too. And I get a lot of that too, and the heartbreak. And that's what's going on. That's what's going on in the world, right? And that's what's going on in the world. But Karen, I'm so glad, Karen, that you're here, and I hope things are going good for you, Karen. I hope things are picking up a little bit, Steve. But yeah, I was very pleased with your channel, Karen. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I loved your hair. I thought your hair was lovely, and your skin was very nice too. Yeah, Karen's skin was very nice. I noticed better how nice her skin was, right? I appreciate good skin, right? This week again, and that's a sure sign too, right? Because I got a pimple. I don't get pimples very often, right? And I got a pimple on my cheek there, right? So and of course, of course, I only had a couple of showers this week too, which but I still wash my face at night and stuff. So yeah, it's the stress, right? That I know my bad skin comes when I get really, really stressed out. And yeah, it's just not having, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to try and question it. I'm just going to just kind of let it. If it needs to sit with me, it needs to sit with me. But I'm just going to try and not pay any attention to it for the well-being, unless it's pulling me into a direction that I need to deal with something, right? I know, Owen. I know exactly what you're going through. Oh, because yeah, you can't help it, right? Because you're just going to be the personality of the personalities that you're around, right? Even if you could join some little club or something where there are other people, right? Or even if you could go maybe you can do like a regular flea market thing, right? Every week on a Sunday or something, or a Saturday, there's a flea market that you can get away and just kind of be around people and stuff, right? Like not like be around chit chat and stuff, but just to be around, right? Just to feel like you belong to the world, right? Because you obviously belong to the world, right? And there's definite gifts, right? I bet you read your mom like a book. I bet you nobody understands your mom like you understand your mom, Owen, for sure, no question. Yeah, you've got her down pat. But yeah, I noticed that about you. I noticed that about you probably shortly after I realized I was a mirror empath, right? Shortly after I realized, and because I know that you attract the same kind of people as you are, right? So I just assumed that because of the way you impact with me and how we got along and everything, I just assumed that you were probably a mirror empath too, right? So I started paying attention to the comments and stuff, and yeah, sure enough you are, right? Yeah. But so it's good that you know that, right? Because at least now when you're feeling blue, Owen, right? When you're feeling bad, that's not you, right? It's because you're mirroring and you're taking somebody else's emotion as your own, right? Because that's what we do, right? Because we don't realize that it's not ours because it's so intense. Those feelings, those sad feelings, that depression, or if you suffer anxiety, or you have even temper ones, right? Even temper ones. See, it's like with my sister too, right? My sister gets really, really angry with me sometimes, and she says some not so nice things, and I've just learned just to, I just stop. I just, okay, I'm not going to get involved in this conversation. I'm not having this conversation. I'm not going to allow you to pull me in because you're trying to pinch me into something, right? And just don't get pulled into it. But it's good at least that you can say, hey, okay, it doesn't belong to me. This isn't mine. This is mom's because she's frustrated because she can't get the proper reception on the TV, or you didn't hear when she called you, or whatever it is, right? And then you hold on to those emotions, right? Yeah. And I do exactly the same thing, Owen, right? Just that's all you can do. That's all. I mean, you can try and talk to them, but usually when they get to that point where they're not pleased and stuff, right? The only thing you can do is, because you can't bring them down at that point, is you don't ever want to talk to anybody if they're upset with you or anything, right? It's not the time. So you just kind of walk away, or pretend that you didn't hear it, ignore it, right? Or pretend that you thought it was something pleasant that they were trying to say to you, right? And just play kind of, I do that quite often. I notice I do. I dumb myself down, and it's I don't know why I do it, right? I don't know why I do it. Like I can communicate anywheres along the line, right? And I should just trust that anybody who comes and hangs out with me is going to understand what I'm talking about, right? But sometimes, I pretend that I don't understand things when I actually do understand. But because it's not going to be part of the conversation anything anyway, it's just part of how I think, right? That I don't share it. But I've been trying. I've been sharing a lot more, right? These are deep conversations, and this is personal stuff with me. And like I said, I'm not even too sure whether it's going to be part of my brand or not, right? If I just going to keep it as the Explore Vet videos, and then this spirituality thing that I kind of walked into, maybe that might just be a part of my personal life, right? But because I'm doing the journey, and because it all came at the same time, right? There were 3 or 4 things that came to me, and I'm working all 3 or 4 things, and I'm pretty positive that a few of these are pretty unique to me, that were gifts that were offered, and yeah, whether or not I get them or not, yeah, right? I'm willing, right? I'm willing. And that's all you can be, is just willing, right? Then you can just keep moving forward, right? It's when you're not willing anymore, that's when you're going to kind of, I guess, stop and just kind of hang out where you left off, right? Yeah, ignoring it. Oh, so he argues with you too, Andrew, your brother? Your brother argues with you too? Yeah. Hmm. I told my sister, right? Because my sister Tracy, like, her husband is a handful, right? He's got very, very, very strong opinions, and yeah. And when my sister comes home from a hard day at work, well, it's sometimes not recognized as a hard day at work, and she gets some more hard day, right? When she gets home. So I told her, like, yeah, come stay with me. You can have my bedroom. I'll sleep on the couch, right? I'll take good care of you. She would love my bedroom. She would love my big window with the fresh air coming over her face every single night, right? With the beautiful fan that keeps her nice and cool, right? And I keep my air conditioner on here, and I keep one of the directionals going down the hallway, right? And I've left it on for the past couple of days, so it should be nice and cool in the bedroom in a couple of days. And then the air conditioner will stay on right where it is right now for probably the rest of the summer. Now I won't turn the air conditioner off, right? Once the house is cooled down, then I'll leave it like that. And then, like tonight, right? It's a little chilly, so I just put on a little sweater, and that's what I'll do over the course of the night, right? Oh, I got another sweat on today. Yeah, went for a quick bike ride. I figured after my live show on Instagram, I better go and get my bike ride in, because after my live show on YouTube, then I have to get into my regular post for my Instagram, and I still haven't. Oh, I did pick a topic. What was the topic I picked today? I can't remember, but yeah, I started the the post, but I can't remember what what it was, right? It was something, it was a good one, right? But I don't think I have a story for it. But yeah. But that's what I was doing today. I went for that bike ride, and I went to get a quart of milk, but and I decided, save your $3. I'm good with coffee mate, right? I'm good with coffee mate. I'm used to it now. It only takes some time to get used to it, right? And then if every once in a while, if I can have a nice bought cup of coffee, And lately too, I've been doing the double doubles. I haven't been asking for the sugar twin. I just make it simple, double double, right? I don't want to be in the coffee shops for too long. I don't like it when people when people get too close to me. Like even now, I'm just putting up my hand still, right, to say, hey, too close. Like, wow, it's been 3 months now, and people are still not, are still not paying attention. They still don't care, right? Yeah. And here in Winnipeg, we've had, I think, almost 2 new cases every day, I think, so far this week. No, maybe not. Well, maybe. I haven't taken a look, but I know the past few days we've had new cases each day, the past few days, right? People are starting to get comfortable. But like I said, as long as you have the flu, right? Don't stop taking precautions, right? Because there are people there that are trying really, really hard. If my sister Tracy gets this cold, right? She's convinced she's not going to survive, and following law of attraction, right? You have to do that positive talking all the time, right? Positive talking. I'm going to ride the waves. It's going to be fine. I'm going to ride the waves, right? Positive affirmations before you go to bed. Say something positive, right? Before you go to bed. Ask a question so that when you open up your eyes in the morning, that maybe there's an answer for you, right? Right? I don't dream. Yeah, I think I'm up above the stars, I think, when I dream. Well, that's not true, because a couple of weeks ago I thought I was almost certain that I was catching something. I thought I was just getting a flicker of something, and it was nice. Whatever it was a nice feeling, but I thought I was getting a flicker, and as fast as it came to me, it was gone. And I thought, well, was that really a dream, or was that just a thought that I was just having now? Because I don't remember dreaming I haven't dreamed in years. For years I haven't dreamed, right? Yeah. And I notice I haven't dreamed for years. And I used to dream, right? And I also haven't had any deja vu in years now too, right? I used to have deja vu every single week. Some little simple thing, right? Whether it was making toast, or, walking on the grass, or seeing a person, or doing a transaction, right? Just the silliest deja vus, right? Nothing like mind blowing. This happened, and now I'm having a deja vu to tell me to go in the wrong direction. No, they were just simple memories. But I haven't had deja vus in a year, in years, like years. I haven't, because I was just thinking about that. I can't even remember the last time I had deja vus. Maybe even before my mother passed away, right? And I was actually thinking the hereditary part of it, because yeah, all this stuff that's happening now, it all started when my mother passed away, right? My sister's personality, what was like, my sister was the most sweet, and she's still sweet and kind, but our souls agitate each other now, right? They really agitate her, and that wasn't there before. That happened like right when my mother passed away. All these things happened, right? Her life just seemed to go being right down the toilet. But because she talks that way, right? She does that negative talk about herself, and how things are bad, and how tired she is, and how she's not feeling well and stuff, right? And what you're doing is you're positively affirming the negative when you do that, right? Yeah, positive talking. Yeah, positive talking and positive thinking all the time. It's so important, right? Like today, I was doing lots of it. I was doing my affirmations. I was talking to myself when I was doing the dishes, right? I played a little bit extra with my cat because she brings me a little bit of happy, right? She just loves to love. Like my cat just loves to be loved. Come here, come here. I don't call her by her name Perfect. I call her Chubby Chubby, and I call her Cutie Patootie, right? And sometimes Cutie Cutie, but usually, yeah, Chubby Chubby is what I call her because she is a porker, that's for sure. But she comes every time. Every time I call her, she comes. Come here. I know. Hi. Oh, you're so cute. You're so cute. And here she is. Huh? Here she is. Yeah, this is my cat, Chubby Chubby. Hey, hey. Yeah. But you're right, Owen. Positive thinking goes a long way, right? And even if you don't believe it, it's scientifically proven that positive affirmations work, right? It's been scientifically proven. So it's not a denominational thing, right? It's not a denominational thing. So yeah, like when you go to bed at night, ask a simple question that you need an answer for, right? Whatever it is, just ask. I call him Theophilus, right? That was my dad's middle name. It means friend of God, right? So I just go Theophilus. What's going on, right? What's going on? You went up there? What's going on? I need help with this, right? I need help with this. And then the next thing you know, I wake up in the morning and I have an answer right there for me, right? Oh, private numbers. I don't answer the private numbers. Yeah, I don't answer the private numbers. Yeah, I wanna I wanna know who's calling me, right? Well, there's a private number I do catch in the morning, right? But that's at my caseworker, right? But he always lets me know that it's going to be an unknown number when he reaches me. I think I'm going downtown for a meeting with him this week. I think, right? I think this week that I have a meeting with him. So I'm actually looking forward to it, and I'm thinking that the offices are going to be all set up with partitions and stuff if they're starting the classes up, right? So he said he wanted to set up a meeting for Wednesdays, but I don't know if he's going to do it online or if he expects me to come down the office. But I'm sure he'll send me a message on Monday or Tuesday for sure, right? If he wants me in on Wednesday. Oh, change. Yeah. But change is good, right? Change is good, right? I don't do enough. That's what it was. That was what it was. Oh, yes. Where is that? Uh, darn. That's what it was. It was positive action. Positive action? Compassionate action. That's what I needed, right? Compassionate action, creative action. I need to introduce something a little bit different. I need to cheer myself up, right? I don't want to drop anything what I'm doing. But I want to make sure that I can manage everything, but at the same time add a little bit something extra, right? And hopefully it can be something to do with the outdoors, right? Whether it's going to be my rock hounding videos or metal detecting videos, right? My sister's already told me she's selling the car, so I've kind of given up. I've kind of given up that she's going to let me have the car back, but it is what it is. But it was a great car, right? Mitsubishi Outlander. What a great vehicle. Wow. Right? I really liked my Chevy Tracker, but that Outlander was amazing. And if I didn't have my heart set on the Jeep J-Wagon, right? Then I would want another Outlander for sure because it was a really nice vehicle, right? Yeah. Or a streamliner. Wouldn't that be nice, right? Wouldn't that be nice to take out onto the road? We could do some camping and some exploring videos. That would be absolutely amazing. Oh yeah, I'm not going without a car for too much longer. As soon as I'm back to work, that will be my priority. That is my priority, is a vehicle. As soon as I get, even if it's a beater, right? I'll just get CAIA, right? So if I get break down out in the countryside, I still have my cell phone, right? I'll pay the long distance, whatever, right? And I'll just have them come out and take care of me. Right? So even if I could spend $1,000 on a beater, there's an older vehicle that I really, really like, right? I really like the Nitro. They don't make the Nitros anymore. They haven't made the Nitro, I think, since 2006. But every time I see one, oh, I love the Nitro, right? If I couldn't have a pink J-Wagon, and then my second choice would be the Outlander, and then if I couldn't have the Outlander, I would go for the Nitro. And I might even go for the Nitro no matter what, because I'm sure I could get them fairly inexpensive. I bet you I can get a Nitro for like $6,000, I bet. Maybe even cheaper, right? Yeah, depending on the mileage. But yeah, what a great truck. What a great truck, the Nitro. Yeah. And inexpensive, and it would be something I would be able to pay for outright. So then I wouldn't have to worry about payments, right? If I could figure out a way to pay for that vehicle outright, and then I wouldn't have to worry about the payments. And then the insurance would be fairly cheap too, because it's a big truck, right? So it'd be safer, but at the same time, it would be an older vehicle too, right? So the insurance, because you would go by Blue Book, right? Blue Book, yeah, you go by Blue Book, right? So it would be cheaper for me to insure, because my Outlander was fairly expensive. I was spending over $200, yeah, $200 a month for my insurance. So that was $2,400 a year for my car insurance, right? So that's a lot of money. That's a lot, 2,400. Yeah, that is a lot of. That is just over 24. So I would probably say 2,500, right? $2,500 a month. But I had full coverage, like I had brand new vehicle insurance, right? That's how come when my tracks got totaled at that stop sign, when that person hit me, right? That I was able to just slide right into a brand new car, and that's when I got the Chevy Tracker. Oh, just wait, not the Chevy Tracker, the Outlander. I have this. I keep this, right? Because when I got the car, they took a picture of me with my car, right? And that's my sister. That's my sister Tracy, right? And that's me, right? And that's my car, and this is my calendar from 2017, set on that first page, and I keep it hanging on my wall, right? That was a beautiful moment, right? That was a kind thing that my sister did. We spent all day. She was working hard, and plus she had to do all the paperwork for the insurance and stuff for me, right? Because I wasn't inclined that way. And then we went out right away, and yeah, and she says, "Oh, Cindy, do you like this car?" And I went, "Yes, I like this car," right? And yeah, she got it for me, right? And I had that car for almost 2 years. Right? And I'm totally grateful that for all that time that I was able to have that car, right? I had so much fun, and it helped me out so much emotionally, right? Being able to get out there and get onto the road, right? It was when things don't go well for me, going for a drive is just like the most perfect medicine. Like there's no perfect it's better than walking for me, right? To get out, because I can go past the perimeter and I can go out in the countryside, for an hour. That would do me so much good. I could live for a month on one outing, right? That's how much juice I get from an outing. Okay, you guys, that's yeah, we ran a little bit late today, but we were having a good conversation, right? But we'll get another vehicle. I'll make that my priority when I get back to work, that vehicle will be a priority. And on top of that, I'm going to find a rooming house with just a bedroom or something really, really cheap. I don't need a whole setup. I'm good with the bedroom. And if I move into somebody's house that has a bedroom, then you know what? They're going to have a backyard, and at least I can sit out in the backyard in the evening. Wouldn't that be lovely? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it was lovely. It was lovely that you guys all came to hang out with me. But yeah, some positive affirmations, right? Positive affirmations. We're going into, hopefully some good times now, right? Wouldn't that be nice that we could have some good adventures? And yeah, I could show my friends a really good time, because there are lots of good times to be had out there, right? Okay, everybody, have a great night, and yeah, we'll see you in a bit. Take care. Have a great night. Oh, blessings to you too, Andrew. Thank you so much.